Special diving teams will resume their search for evidence linked to the San Bernardino massacre tomorrow. The FBI will not say what was found during a search and recovery operation today at Seacombe Lake Park. The shooters were seen at the park the day of the attack. And tonight, new indications the San Bernardino terrorists may have been planning a much bigger attack after last week's massacre.
Now, they were reportedly in the final stages of planning a second attack, which could have taken a staggering toll. KCAL 9's Bryan joins us now with more on that suspected plot.
Jeff, Lena, their reported plans for a much bigger and deadlier attack could explain why Syed, Farook, and Tashfeen Malik were sitting on thousands of rounds of ammunition and a large supply of pipe bombs, which they didn't use in the San Bernardino attack, an attack that might have been a rehearsal for the bigger assault. Now there are new indications the San Bernardino killings may have been just the warm-up act. The LA Times reports the husband and wife shooters, Syed Farook and Tashfeen Malik, may have been planning other attacks and, according to two federal sources, were in the final stages of putting together an assault at a separate building or location, quote, with a lot more people inside, possibly at a nearby school or college, according to those sources. Investigators reportedly based that information on evidence left behind on Farook and Malik's computers and digital devices, some of which were not completely destroyed before they were killed in a shootout with police. This news comes as forensic divers scanned a lake just a few miles from the site of last week's bloody San Bernardino terrorist massacre, looking for important evidence that may have been ditched by the shooters.
The reason we're here searching this lake today is because we did have a lead that indicated that these subjects came into this area. We're seeking evidence of anything that had to do with this particular crime.
The search is believed to be focusing on a hard drive, electronic devices, and other items which the shooters may have tossed into the lake. And there are new revelations now about Syed Farook. The FBI is reportedly looking into a possible link between Farook and the leader of a terrorist group that was arrested in 2012 and tried for allegedly plotting to blow up U.S. military bases in Afghanistan.
Killing or attempting to kill officers and employees of the United States.
The leader of the group was 34-year-old Sohail Omar Kabir, who lived in Pomona, a naturalized citizen from Afghanistan. The feds say Farook was in the same social circles as Kabir and may have had contact with him.
It would be irresponsible of us to not look into any potential connections. We don't know all those connections yet. I'm not prepared to discuss that at this point because I just don't have all the answers.
And there are questions as well now about what role, if any, Enrique Marquez may have played in the San Bernardino bloodshed. He reportedly obtained 2 rifles for Farook years before the attack because Farook didn't want the guns to be tied back to him, and those weapons were later used in last week's attack. Friends say Marquez isn't a violent person.
He was really outgoing.
Viviana Ramirez was a college friend.
Just the fact that he is friends with him doesn't mean that he did it.
Another friend of Marquez told CBS News when he talked about Islam, he talked about it in the past tense. He told me that he deconverted years ago. Outside the Marquez home in the neighborhood where Farook and Marquez grew up, Marquez's mother talked about her son in Spanish, captured on a cell phone. My world is upside down, she said. My son is a good person. Also tonight, Reuters reports Islamic terrorist groups ignored contact attempts from Tashfeen Malik in the months leading up to the San Bernardino massacre. Those reports quote U.S. government sources who said the militant group she contacted were wary of getting caught up in a U.S. law enforcement sting and rarely reply to outsiders from the West they don't know and to whom they haven't been introduced. Lena, Jeff?